All right, you loyal listeners. Now, welcome to another episode of Agency Intelligence Podcast, where I give you that real agency intelligence and not the artificial that they try to make you believe out there. I am back with the men of the hour, the men of the month, the men of the year, the shit they're doing. They'll be the men of the decade here pretty soon. I'm telling you what, they are rocking and rolling. We've got Michael Lebor, who is AKA El Presidente, and for all you English people, that would be the president. And for Peter, we also have the CEO. They are both president and CEO of Momentum AMP. And it's not like AMP, like your amp of your sound system. It's an agency management platform. One of the things I'm going to talk about here is I kind of open up just real quick. I think this is really, really important because we're going to talk about a few big things when we're talking about this. We're going to talk about IndieTech. They've become huge presenting sponsors. We're going to talk about that. But in the course of that, I think it's really important that we talk about momentum. There's not a lot of people who know about momentum. They really don't. They ask me all the time, who the hell is this? Then you say NowCerts, and they're like, oh, yeah, okay, I have heard of that. But that's what happens when you rebrand. But then you come on a huge podcast like Cass's, and now everybody will know about this shit. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the evolution of the AMS, open ecosystems, closed tech stacks, automation, AI and agencies, the future of the independent agent, and now IndieTech is a platform for industry innovation. One of the things I'd like to point out here, which I think is weird, is a very good thing, is I believe I've heard Michael say this per my notes. We're trying to move the conversation from a system to a platform. And I think that's why we talk about AMP, Agency Management Platform. So introduce yourself, Michael. Start first, and then we'll go over to Peter.
Jay, thank you. Really a big fan. Great partnering with you. And as mentioned, my name is Mike Lebor. I'm El Presidente of Momentum AMP. And we are very particular about calling it a platform, as you completely nailed it on the head. And if you want to think about some imagery, I always like to think about those old Mac versus PC commercials. Remember those with Justin Long?
Classic.
Yeah. So that's kind of the visual we're trying to get across to any independent agent out there. I think a system is, how your dad ran, their agency, and the platform, the interconnectivity, the ability to not rely on one system, but to be able to have all your vendors plugged in, all your third-party data providers, all the different tech platforms, to be able to connect and integrate. That's what a platform is. And we're very particular about it. We did a lot of thinking when we were rebranding the company, and being known as a platform was a paramount concern for us. So I know we're going to geek out and really double down on a lot of these thoughts, but that's a quick intro.
Wow, you guys are blessed because he's like Cass. There's very few things that are quick when it comes to Michael Lebor. God, I'm one of the people that always mispronounces. Isn't that right, Michael? It's always Michael Lebor. I'm French or something.
You're in good company because I'd say 98% of the people pronounce it that way. And
well, that pisses me off because I don't want to be like 98% of the people. So anyway,
I'm much more concerned that the check clear. So
good call. Okay, good call. Okay, that's much more important. And then we have, his reputation precedes him. I've told him this already, but this is Peter. I want him to introduce himself. Possibly one of the nicest and gentlemen individuals in the insurance industry. When I meet somebody that knows Peter, they say, man, that's a nice ass guy. And so far it's lived up to be true. In the 5 or 6 months I've really got to know him. Peter?
Thanks, Jay. Peter Germanov. I'm the founder of NowCerts, which became rebranded to a Momentum agency management platform, and I'm sure we'll discuss that. I'm flattered by your words, and it's good to hear because one of my passions really is helping people, agents, and that's why I got into this business, and that's I'm still very excited about what we're doing. It's all about helping the independent agent live a better life, have a better business. That's all.
That's right. Peter, am I correct that one of the things you love to do is ski?
I'm a snowboarder, but yeah, I
Oh,
sometimes abbreviated
snowboard.
skiing, and that's the reason I moved to Utah. And
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I've been told.
yeah,
So here's a couple things. I'm going to start off with Peter first, but before I do, it's important because they won't tell you because they're both humble. Founded originally NowCerts in 2009 before rebranding to Momentum. They're considered one of the largest AMS providers in the U.S., especially it says here after merging with Insurance Gig, which is one of the things that Michael kind of brought to the table and added to what the greatness that Peter had already built. They built an all-in-one platform combining the CRM, automation, rating, communications, and analytics. It integrates with 150 plus carriers and tech tools through open APIs, true open APIs, and they're used by over 1,600 plus agencies, managing over 10 billion in premium. So this is one of the big things we'll talk about, which is the main point here. Stop juggling systems. One platform for your entire agency life cycle. Now, I want to start with Peter here. Doesn't mean that you can't talk, obviously, Michael, but I'm going to ask you questions too. This is what I want to say. Peter, I've read some interesting things. Momentum just didn't rebrand now from NowCerts to look different. You guys did it because you didn't want to be known as a certificate tool anymore. You wanted to be known as a platform that runs the whole agency. Expand on that for me, Peter.
that's accurate, Jay. So we started as a certificate system, which is bread and butter for commercial agencies. And then when we started going the trade show circuit, the number one comment we received was, "Oh, we didn't know you guys do agency management. We thought you just issue certificates." So after a while, we decided, you know what, maybe we should change the name of the company so that it does no longer mislead people. And we have a great product, but we're not doing ourselves a favor. So as you know, the rebranding is not easy, especially after you spend years, with SEO and establishing uh, a name for yourself. So initially it was kind of slow going. We didn't have a huge marketing budget, but that was the impetus behind rebranding as Momentum. And then separately, when, as you know, years ago, the initial movement was for agencies to go from an AMS to add a CRM and then add a rater and then add a bunch of different systems. And pretty soon they had a collection of like a dozen different platforms they were using to manage their business, and quickly developed the fatigue of having to log in and look at 15 different screens.
Good
So
word.
people start asking us, can we do everything in your system? And that's when we, even though our philosophy is to have an open API and integrate with companies in the space that are doing amazing things and offer that as a service to our agents and stick to what we know best, which is still agency management, we decided that there are certain core services and areas of managing an agency business that we should own. Even though we have partners that we integrate with, we wanted to own certain core, we call them pillars of managing an
Okay.
agency. And that's when we decide not only will we call ourselves Momentum, which is a lot more dynamic, but also we want to make sure people understand that as a platform, you can literally manage the entire agency just on one screen. Again, we
nice.
integrate and you can use other vendors, but you don't have to, is the point.
Michael, I got something fun and interesting for you before we dive into IndieTech. I saw something funny that said, I was actually pretty wild here. It says Momentum actually gives access, you do, Momentum users, you give access your personal cell phone to them for support. That's either the greatest customer service promise for InsurTech or the most dangerous promise you've ever made. What do you think about that? Expand on that, Michael.
It really stems from, I want people to know that at the end of the day, they're going to be heard. And we're a growing company. When Peter and I joined forces, and I'll correct one of the things you said. We actually just broke 1,800 customers when we started, talking about this. We were at 1,600. We're growing quickly,
Wow.
and we're adding customers and bringing on trained onboarding support to be able to handle a transition from an existing AMS onto Momentum. It's hard. There's a lot involved. It's understanding and learning every SOP that exists in an agency, how that maps to what we do and how we do it, and that requires like really smart, intelligent, experienced, industry knowledgeable people. And at the end of the day, we're staffing up and we're growing. But I want people to know that whatever is going on, whatever happens, they know that they could reach somebody who's going to shake the trees for them. And I give it out often. I'm actually surprised at how few people use it. Now, maybe that means that we don't have any problems, but that's not the case. We're pretty self-aware of what our strengths are and what our opportunities for growth and improvement are. But yeah, I give it out. 516-241-3288. If you're a Momentum user, use it. Text me for good or for bad.
So Momentum decided they were been a sponsor, and then this last year, after being a Ruby sponsor, Peter came, Michael came. For all you know, we had IndieTech 2026 in Fort Lauderdale, and obviously from the fanfare that we've got, I guess we knocked it out of the park. And Barbara and I kind of knew we were going to do that, especially leading up to it. I was really always telling my wife how excited I was for it. But you guys came to me and said, Jason, we want to take this further. And I want to ask, and I'll go with Mike. I know, Mike, you're very passionate about this. Michael, you're very passionate about this. What did you first see in IndieTech that made you think this is something that the industry actually needs and we want to invest in it?
So I'll tell you, I go to a lot of these events, and I think one of the main reasons why Peter brought me on as a partner is because he doesn't love getting on the plane and going to these events. I think he's coming around, but I go to a lot of them and I love them and they're my jam. And I'm constantly like paying attention to what people are saying about it. Like, what's the feedback? What's the reputation that they're cultivating? And Jay, I can't put my finger on it, but IndieTech is awesome. You have like this amazing mix of just the right size agency, right? They're not one person shops that do this part-time. These are people that are lifers that, even though like they'll make fun of themselves, they're passionate about being independent agents. They're smart. They invest in their business. And you have the perfect amount of vendors that really want to focus and talk to the independent agent. The venue is great. The content is great. And I've been coming for the past couple of years, and I just see like if the following is an indicator of how good a show is, I mean, you guys really have, I think, the best show pound for pound out there. I'm still seeing freaking content about IndieTech and people posting about IndieTech on my LinkedIn feed.
Surprising to me too. It really is.
And it's just, I go to a lot of these things, and I don't want to mention any other brands, but some of them are just, they're too big. You can't accomplish anything there. I got to see, even in a drive-by, every single person that was at the show, I got to have a quick interaction with. The way that you set up the show. And listen, you just said it. Like, we approached you and said, Jay, how do we get more of this? Mm-hmm. And we really wanted to be as big of a part as we possibly could of IndieTech.
Thank you. And Michael, you know, one of the things I absolutely love, I haven't paid attention so much with Peter. Everybody in this industry calls me Cass. You call me Jay. I absolutely love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. You really do. I don't get you'll write me emails. You'll be like, Jay, and I'm like, man, it's so interesting. No one ever does that. So I think it's cool. Now, keep in mind, all you loyal listeners out there, they just didn't come up and write a check. which they did. And I'm appreciative for that. And I think everybody's going to be able to see that the impact of that this year. We'll talk a little bit about that more later. But also, they said, here's our team. They gave us some people to say, hey, here you go. Because if you don't know at IndieTech, usually an event of about 400 people or more, they usually buy a team to do it, or buy a team. Usually hire a team they'll hire a company to actually run the event. Now, some of the others like Applied and Vertifor, and then they don't because they have a whole team of people that could do that. But majority of events out there, we don't do that. That is something we have a team of about 4 people that ran it. And then we have about 6 people that we bring with us on site. And Michael recognized that immediately. It was like, hey, you need people? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, this person, and this person, which are great people. I've worked with a couple of them before. Everybody knows Ricky Burrito. My assistant, she's Latino. The first time she said that, and I said Ricky's name, she says, it's not burrito, Jason. I said, no, that's how we say it, But anyways, he's fantastic. A lot of the other people, Greg and Maria and other people that you've given us. And then I think it's really, really cool that we kind of said, hey, let's kind of line this out, and let's not just say you're the presenting sponsor. Let's not inject some money into it and everything, but let's make a dedicated course. So if you haven't come to IndieTech before, we have different tracks. So for instance, this year we have 6 classes, one that goes on every 45 minutes on Wednesday, February 3rd is when it'll be. And we have 6 of those 6-track classes. And one of those tracks is going to be specifically for momentum. We're going to allow momentum to bring it in. And I think this is going to be huge because I'll be honest with you, Michael and Peter, I think you're going to have 25 to 30% of those classes that aren't momentum users. I think they're going to be in there because they want to learn about momentum. I mean, it's one of the hottest topics that's going on right now. Happens to be the fact that you guys have an open system, an open ecosystem. As I love what Peter said before, there's things that you own and you're saying, hey, this is what we're going to be and deliver. But at the same time, I never in my life, and I hang out with I know the other CEOs of your competition pretty well, and they don't sit around and say, and if you're listening to this right now, I'm being nice. I'm being nice, but I just want them to know that it's not, okay, I'm just going to say it. In our marketing kit this year for the vendors, we have a whole section in there about how the other events are actually eliminating and excluding vendors from coming because they're seeing them as competition. Michael, you straight up told me, Cass, that will never be our philosophy whenever we're involved with this event with you. I think that it just says as kudos and says everything right there. One of the things that a loyal listeners, Michael, has told me before, he said, Cass, when the industry wins, we all win. And I think that we really forget about that, Michael. You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, Peter and I couldn't be more clear. I don't want to say we don't believe in the concept of competition because I know that sounds moronic, but we don't care. And the example that I always give, and I hope they get some free media out of it, but as you mentioned, the name of our company was NowCerts. Our DNA started as a cert company. Certificial came to us and said, we think we could do some things differently than you and better than you. Can we integrate with you? And I think some of the other systems would have said no. Wow. It's too close to home. We said, great. If you think you could do it better than we can, our customers are going to benefit. We'll find another way to hone our skills. We'll find another way to make a buck. We truly have an open system. Anybody who wants to come integrate with us can come integrate with us. And we build a lot of product ourselves. But if any third party feels they could do it better, God bless you, come join us. And it's very similar to the approach that Apple has taken in the marketplace. Like, they have their own apps, but if somebody wants to go build a better stock app, come join the party. And our customers are benefiting from it. And I'll just say one thing, and I know this is something Peter is super passionate about, but using my experience at IndieTech as kind of the indicator for what's happening in the industry. Jay, two shows ago, people talking about open architecture and open systems. It was this aspirational concept, like, oh yeah, that sounds interesting. That's, I think, where I want to get to. And then last year it was having this system that allows me to connect all the different tech platforms I work with and have one source of truth. That's kind of, on my top 10 list of things that I want to accomplish. And this year it was, holy crap, I need this now. Where do I go? This has to happen immediately, especially with some of the recent tech innovations that have been happening over the past 6 months. And we're the only game in town, truly.
True.
Some others say it. We're the truly only open system that will allow any tech company that you work with in your agency to connect all the dots. So, that's our approach. Peter,
have you always felt that way, that he does about this open system? Is that something he brought to the company, or is that something you always felt like, hey, there's no competition, we're just here to provide a great product for agents?
And that's always been the cornerstone of our culture, and mostly comes from the fact that I was an agent, and the reason we started our own AMS is because we tried a few of the, at the time, available products, and we found that the inability to customize the system and to integrate with it limiting. So we said we're going to build something that is the antithesis of that, where people can customize and people can plug things in and integrate. Our first integration, when it was just our own system, was with Ring Central, right? And
Wow.
and also, I believe there's tons of examples from other industries. You compare like Microsoft and Apple and Google and all the different operating systems. And Lebor said, like, we're like Apple, but we're more like Android. It's kind of like an open, non-licensed
Great.
system that it can do anything you want with. So I've always believed in competing on level terms, which means you do that by having a very open licensed system, and then you just try to build the best product on top of that. And just to go back onto something, we make it a point. We also know, the leadership of some of the competition, and we view it as, something that was mentioned. We cooperate. We all kind of serve different niches, and we provide different, satisfy different needs for different agents. No, not every agency is the same, right? So some people will be better served by some of the competition, and then we've sent clients back and forth between each other, believe it or not. Again, all in the name of servicing, finding the best fit for the agency that's looking, for their tech stack to manage their business. But beyond just openness and customization, we actually have a number of white labeled versions. This is like the next level of customization. So, I'm not going to mention names, but we work with some really big companies that use a platform as a backend. So it wouldn't be known as NowCerts or Momentum, but people that are familiar with it. And we even changed the interface where it's completely unrecognizable. So we offer that. And when it comes to that, truly are the only game in town. So we have a number of people that come to us and say, we love your system, but we need to integrate with a bespoke system in-house, and we just need to do certain things. And we will work with them to make it happen.
Okay, so loyal listeners, let's make the big announcement. The big announcement is Jason Cass is leaving. The Insurance Alliance is leaving Vertafore AMS 360 and will be joining Momentum. This is something that came about, which kind of actually led to the discussion of IndieTech, and then coming to IndieTech and they see it. It actually started out on the fact of everybody's familiar with the next routing engine that me and Daniel and a couple developers are creating. When we started trying to develop inside of the next routing engine, to develop the next routing engine, we needed to have a deep integration with a management system. Our first one, obviously, Vertifor, AMS 360, that's what I'm using. My developers would sweat during trying to figure it out. They would, and I mean, these are not trying to figure it out, but just because it doesn't work well and connect well with others. I will say outside of Momentum, probably one of the better. We tried to work with Epic's system, Applied Systems. It literally, my developers literally wanted to call in sick when it was their day to actually try to develop into that damn thing. It frustrated them that bad. Now, keep in mind, this is Cass talking, and I'm just going to tell you real because I'm an agent. We tried over with Hawksoft. Great system, probably the closest that we have. My developers actually like working inside of Hawksoft. And then I said, we started talking, and one day, we were talking about Bradley Flowers, and somebody said, I think it was Andres, one of our developers, said, who does he use? And we said he uses Momentum, which is NowCerts. They said, who the hell's that? And I said, well, hold on. Now, you got to keep in mind, developers are not from America, so they're not in the insurance industry. They wouldn't know. And so we decided, hey, let's look into that. Let's see it. That we went online, got all your API, all the crap you have out there. You can tell Jason's talking ignorantly. I don't know this side. And I mean, all the development side that we got sent. And I mean, I'm serious when I say this, loyal listeners. I'm serious when I say this, Peter and Michael. Like, there was why are we not doing business with these people? Why are we not integrating here? And I was like, well, and we went through the different reasons. And they were like, if you're trying to deliver a great product and you need to have a management system to be able to write back and the other things that we need to do, there's no doubt we need to go this way. So then possibly now getting Daniel involved, our CPO, he started looking at it and it came back overwhelmingly that, Jason, this is the system. One of the reasons why I left, moved from QQ Catalyst to AMS 360 was because it integrated with more things. I'm not with a company because I think that they're cool. I'm with a company because my agency demands certain things and I needed to integrate. And at the end of the day, if that's our philosophy, Momentum is our choice. And so it was ironic, and people may believe it, they may not believe it, but the fact that you guys stepped up to IndieTech is like a side byproduct of the fact that we were moving our agency to Momentum in the first place. And we will be doing that effective June. Actually just had a meeting today for an hour with your team to help us get that started and move it over, which actually worked really, really well. So that is an announcement. And some people would be like, well, why would you care? Well, there's a lot of people out there that do. They know that when I go around and I speak, I have this big old slide that shows all of my products and it shows all my Vertifor products. When we decide to go with you, you guys have your own rater. We won't use your rater. We won't use PL rater either. We're using Gaia. We haven't used our rater for the last 7 months. I did not know that. Michael and Peter, I did not. When I started going through the negotiations of what I was going to renew, I reached out to Lordland, who does all of our quoting, and I said, hey, do you think you could really use other technology and not use PL Rater? I kid you not. I can read you the team's message. She came back and she says, Jason, I know for a fact I haven't used this year, and I probably haven't used it since Thanksgiving. That blew me away. That absolutely blew me away that we're quoting Erie, we're quoting West Bend, we're quoting NatGen, we're quoting Cincinnati, we're quoting Progressive, we're quoting whatever companies we have, American Modern, whatever more we have, and we're not even using a rater. But what I do need is I need Gaia to have a little bit better connections for them to do other things. You guys allow that. So it's just, loyal listeners, just really stop and think about what I said. I'm an agency owner just like you. I'm having the same frustrations, and there's options out there. And as you said, and I believe when we first started talking, Michael, I think you guys were actually at 1,500 agencies. And that was 6, 7, 8 months ago. So I think you guys now up to 1,800, we're starting to see that increase. And I think everybody's saying to themselves right now, I'm going to put you guys on the spot. They're saying they're having so much growth, they'll be bought out here pretty soon. Big Blue or Big Orange will come buy them. Why should I move? What do you guys have to say about that?
Peter, you take that
Michael's
one.
sweating now. He's like, Peter, speak up.
Michael knows it. So I actually have clients that move to us, a lot of clients that have asked me to promise them that that's not going to happen. So listen, it's a
It's the
weird.
most common
It
request.
is the
It's our
most
most
common
common
request,
request.
yeah. And I feel like a lot of the clients are kind of like friends. You know, we talk about all kinds of stuff. But yes, people love coming to us for the dynamism and the innovation and all the openness. A lot of people come to us because they don't necessarily love their previous vendor, and it has to do a lot of size and philosophy of how things get done. Yeah, these are all great
Mhm.
systems. Again, I'm going to keep saying that. Uh,
They are.
but
They are. We are not here to down them.
yeah,
That's right.
and when Michael, when we were dating, and then decided, maybe we'll get hitched. The first thing I told Michael, I don't know if you remember this. Well, one of the first things I said, and I got to tell you, we're not. Again, never say never, right? It's a weird world out there, but we're not selling. I've made so many promises to people that there's no way we're going to sell to, uh, the Coke or
Mhm.
Pepsi, right? We'll try to beat them. How about that? How instead of like selling to them, maybe we buy one of them. Who knows?
Yeah, there
And
you
that's
go.
going back to the initial thing about competition's good, and openness and cooperation. Well, once we become number one, well, maybe we have to rethink that. So there's something to be said about your market position, and how you approach competition. But so for the time being, we play nice, but then once we become Microsoft, maybe we'll just kill every other browser
Oh,
out
that's great.
there.
That's great.
um,
And that's a tough question to answer right off the bat like that. And I wouldn't have asked that if I didn't know that you guys that well. But you guys welcome that kind
I
of
think
stuff.
that's a. Let me go back a little serious. It's not it's not a question we consider. We're not in this space to flip to build something and flip it. I know that's very common for startups and for companies. You build something and you flip it. That's the other thing Michael and I discussed when we decided to join forces. Is like I said, Michael, I'm only going to bring you because we're trying to build something, and we will build something and keep building it. And it's not something we want to flip out and have an exit strategy and cash
Uh-huh.
out and then disappear. Right? This is not. Both of us are workaholics, so we're going to keep working no matter what. But we found that passion is in this space. We've invested a lot of our lives into this. So we'd love to. I think we're doing a good thing, and for as long as people appreciate our clients, calling out cell phone numbers and coming up with suggestions and having the energy and the excitement about partnering with us, because that's how we build the platform. I'm perfectly happy with what I'm doing, and I don't want to sell money. I was a hedge fund manager. If I wanted, it was if I worked for money, I would have stayed in that industry. I kind of hated it, some aspects of it, so that's why I completely moved into a different. So I love what I'm doing, and I'm not looking to sell. By the way, a good example of that is I'll use the word friend, but somebody I really respect is Paul Hawkins, the
Mm-hmm.
owner of
Yes, sir.
Cogsoft. So if you know Paul, he gets 25 calls a day. The whole investment community now knows not to call Paul because the company is not for sale. But we're kind of in the same boat. We want to build something and continue building.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, Paul and Sean Hawkins, they have a culture of a company that any company would be jealous of and wants to replicate. For real. They have an unbelievable culture. They
Yeah.
really truly do. Applied with their systems, recognizing that Epic is good for the big ones, but they needed something smaller for Easy Links. Easy Links is a good product, especially if you're personal lines. I think QQ falls along that same line. I can't sit here and say that I dislike and hated AMS 360 because that would be a lie. I just see something that when it comes to a philosophy and what my agency needs, there's a better fit. So I love the fact that you said that because we are not here to down any of them. They're all good. They all support me, and I'll always support them as well. So I really, truly do enjoy them as well. So thank you very much for pointing that out. Anything you wanted to add there, Michael?
I'm for sale. You could buy me out.
That's he ain't lying either. That's what I love about Lebor.
All right, let me ask you this real quick.
But Jay,
Oh,
we're not. to get serious, Ramona, we're trying to build value. We're trying to build value here, and you don't have to sell your company to build value. And if you're locked up into your own little world where every widget, every product, every credit card processor has to be within your universe, then like the only way to extract value is to sell. But with what we've built, where I don't want to get into too much of a tangent with the CIP program, but we're trying to create every possible way to foster partnerships. And those are going to generate revenue streams. And it's our vision. I forget about agencies for a minute, but I want 1,000 people to be making $1 million a year on the Momentum platform. I want Next One, and I want even IndieTech to be making money off of our platform. And at a certain point, like, we don't have to sell. We have this platform that is going to keep growing organically and deliver a tremendous amount of value. And we're just getting started. We're launching a new platform. Jay, you're very well aware of it.
Yeah.
On April 1st, which I really think is going to bridge the gap for the independent agent and how they navigate this new world of AI. I'm happy that we're in the 44th minute and it's the first time we've mentioned AI. And I don't even want to go into it further, but we're just getting started. I cannot tell you how many millions of dollars and thousands of developer and engineering hours we're investing to deliver a product to help the average independent agent navigate this new AI universe. We haven't even scratched the surface.
You have it. You have it. I've told this to Peter and Michael, loyal listeners, that Wayne Gretzky said, "Don't go where the puck is, go where the puck is going." When I know their timeline and what they're building, the only disadvantage they have is they are 3 to 4 passes ahead. That's how far they're thinking. But coming back and slowly implementing, here's where we're going to go past 1, here's where we're going to go past 2. But if you ever get a chance, and I don't want to put him on the spot right now, Peter has given me behind the scenes of what him and his team are building and what you guys are going to deliver in 2 years before that. But I'm talking about the grand thing, because I think you could deliver it right now, Peter, but the technology of the world is not where it needs to be for the vision that you have. And Michael, you too, but as people, for both of you. Okay. So I think that is really, really phenomenal. That was another thing that was big for me and Mitch being my CTO was, hey, this is going to be something that I don't think we're ever going to have to leave. I'm 47 years old, almost 48, but we'll just keep calling me 47 because it sounds better. But I think that is going to be something that's going to be there for a long time. And I really, truly do. So the other thing is I've got some other questions here, but I also just want to talk about some of their commitment to IndieTech has allowed us. I want to make an announcement right now. It's the first time it's been announced, but we signed the agreement in the last couple of days. If you are familiar with the author of Never Split the Difference, a hostage negotiator, Chris Voss, one of the fantastic. He's the CEO also now of the Black Swan Group. You've probably heard of him before. If you haven't, you've heard of Chris Voss. He will be joining us as our keynote speaker. He will close out IndieTech. And I just have to tell you that with the resources that Momentum is helping us with, that would have been very hard for us to do. We'd had to get a lot bigger. And so those are just one of the many different things that Peter and Michael have said. Because Michael said, Jason, the only thing I've heard is that you need to have some more speakers, right? That was something that he said. And it was like, okay, how are we going to do this? And sat down with them and they were able to help make it happen. And I just can't tell you, this is something you guys don't even know, but like this was a dream of mine like 4 years ago. I remember my very first year when I had 120 people, I wanted to try to get Chris Voss. And so I called him and I found out how much he was. And I was like, oh shit, I don't even think I'm spending that on food. And so I had to back out immediately. And it's really, really cool to see this vision come about now. And I'm so excited that agents are going to be able to get to hear him because he's very, very good. Anybody who's heard him just walks away saying he's about one of the best they've ever heard. And so I'm really, really looking forward to that. So that's an announcement there for all
So, Jay, can I say one thing on that? First of all,
Come on.
I'm not to get too mushy, but I'm kind of getting goosebumps a little bit, thinking that we were helpful in allowing you to kind of execute on that vision. It really, it's a
true.
great feeling. But I just had a great idea. The subject of Chris Voss's negotiation will be how to extricate yourself from your existing AMS contract and how to negotiate your way out of it.
And don't pay the data transfer fees.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
data
there-
backup fees.
There goes a bunch of my sponsors. Oh, that's hilarious,
Yeah.
Mike. So you guys didn't know Michael's that funny. He's that funny all the time. He really, truly is. Hey, I want to do something fun. I cannot believe you said the 40-minute mark or the 30-minute. Dude, we've already been doing this for 40 minutes. I can't believe that. Let's do something fun real quick. AMS truth or lie. You ready? AMS truth or lie. The AMS is dying. Truth or lie?
Lie.
It's true, but I want
I
to
love
qualify that. The AMS
We-
as a SaaS is dying.
We
but-
do not. We disagree quite often.
well, I'm trying
I
to
know.
kill it. The AMS as a SaaS is dying, but as an operating system is actually evolving.
Okay.
And
okay.
I can get into that at some point. But
Agencies will be able to run agencies will run entirely on AI workflows. Truth or lie?
Give a time frame.
24 months.
the back office, yes, the back office, not the salespeople and the,
Okay.
communicating with the client, which will only
Okay.
improve.
I agree.
You agree? Okay. All right. The independent agent is getting stronger. Truth or lie?
Truth.
Yeah. If you said lie, I'd probably just
We're leveling the
not
field.
play
That's
this.
that's what we're in the
Yeah, and I
business
wouldn't
for.
play this podcast.
The ones who use the tools.
Yes.
Jeff Roy said in 2018, AI will not replace agents, but agents who use AI will replace those who don't. Now, me, in my book that I've released, and if everybody wants to go check out the Future Ready book. It's on Amazon on sale right now. In my book, I talk about this. AI will not replace agents, but those agents who use AI will replace those don't. There's two missing words: know how. That's what we're missing. See, when we think about this, Peter and Michael, I've never told you this. When we think about that saying, we assume that there's people who aren't going to want to change. We assume that, AI will eliminate them because they didn't want to use AI. Most of them want to use it. They just don't know how. No one's really taken the time to show them this is how you can use it. And also technology. I think a lot of people like to talk about AI, but when you ask people how they're using AI in their office, they all say the same thing: email making emails, doing reports. It's not where we think it's going to go yet. And I think you guys know that more than anybody.
Yeah. So Jay, at IndieTech, at the session where I spoke, there were about 100 people sitting in the audience, and I've mentioned this quite a bit since the event. I asked the agents, how many of you are using AI in your agency? And all 100 hands went up. And I said, if using AI means you're taking a question and writing and putting it into ChatGPT, or even uploading a document and putting it to ChatGPT that goes nowhere, that connects to nothing, put your hands down. And 95 hands went down. So
I agree.
There is this massive demand from the independent agent, and I'm sure the top 100 have all, contracted with KPMG and Deloitte to advise them on how to bring AI into their universe. And great. The IndieTech user, our average customer, does not have that capability or those resources. And that's what we are looking to provide, both on a technical level and also a managed services level. Like we want to, and that's, I don't want to speak for next one, but Jay, we've spoken about it often. Like I'm hopeful that as we develop and cultivate our relationship and partnership, that we could bring your expertise and your team's expertise to help our collective customers. Not just here's a piece of software, go figure it out, but let us help set it up for you, guide you, how do we take your operating procedures? How do we upload your best practices into a RAG? And if you know what that means, great, you're a perfect candidate. And if you don't know what that means, you need to call one of us to explain it to you. And so I think that's a big part of it, and it's something that's missing, and we hope to fill that void.
Now, can I add
Yeah,
something,
Peter, go ahead.
Jay? You know, I was thinking back on the questions you asked, but one thing I'd like to notice that, at least from my personal perspective, it's never been more difficult to prognosticate what's going to happen, 6 months from now, let alone 2 years from now. The
True.
technology that we're witnessing, it's so powerful and moving so fast. I mean, you're right. Maybe 3 months ago, 6 months ago, we dreamed of doing stuff, but then we realized, yeah, the technology is not there yet. But it's now entered into the parabolic phase, where it's exponentially improving itself, and we're seeing stuff literally in the last few weeks that were unthinkable just a few months ago. So that asking me what's going to happen to the AMS, to the agent, yeah, we give you our best hope scenarios, but that doesn't necessarily mean anybody knows really. It's very difficult to especially once you enter someone, when the AI improves itself, it's impossible to know what's going to happen.
To elaborate on what you said there, Peter, loyal listeners, Michael's talking also about Next Agency, nexagency.ai. At the end of 2024, when I priced that out to build it, I needed almost $10 million and I needed like 50 developers. In the spring of 2025, my price fell to around $7 to almost $5 million. In the fall, it was around $3 million. And I think I can build that same thing right now for a little over $1 million. And the only thing that's changed is technology. I mean, actually, the product has gotten bigger from what I originally thought. But that right there just tells you in a matter of 18 months, we've literally been able to drop the price that much on what we would need. And a lot of that's on development, on the developers. I mean, let's be honest, there's the word out there that junior developers are gone. They're not necessarily, they're still here, but they're depleting really, really fast. And the things that you can possibly do, I got to tell you, I mean, it's unbelievable. Claude has come on fast. I don't want to go down this road. We can go there very fast, but the shit they're doing is absolutely unbelievable. And I love I got to give Claude, they're so quick. This thing happens with the United States government. Claude gets kicked out. OpenAI jumps in. There's such a backlash that literally overnight, I think it was over 3 or 4 nights, Claude goes and puts a thing in that says, hey, if you want to leave ChatGPT, you can just download all your information and upload it over here. That's quick. That's quick and think. And someone was like, guys, we're going to have a big influx. One of the things that stopped me from going immediately was, I mean, I've been using Chat for 2 years. I got a lot of stuff in there. That thing knows me. I have a name for it, and now I can just download the shit, go right over to Claude, upload it, and I have it all. Man, that was pretty smart. That was pretty damn smart.
Jay,
yeah, can I say one thing?
Yeah, Michael, then Peter.
It's what you're describing is, I think, very indicative of one of the values that I think we are trying to bring to the table for the agent. Because like Peter said, and he used the great words, like, we can't prognosticate. We can't. And I would say the average independent agent who, if they were to go about it alone, and what if they did invest in whatever platform it was, and it's amazing how all of a sudden OpenAI became like not cool, overnight. It's fascinating. Like, you don't hear top 10 things you could build on OpenAI on ChatGPT anymore. It's now on Claude. Mm-hmm. But we're handling that burden for the agent. Like, our platform is built in a way where we're tapping into multiple AI, LLMs, and architectures, and it's not just for the agent, it's for us, because we don't know what is going to be the platform du jour tomorrow. And the agent is not going to be able to afford to pick up and move their SOPs over and move their history over. And if you do that as a one-off, you're kind of committing yourself and painting yourself into a corner. And
True.
one of our mission statements is to kind of future-proof AI for the agent.
Future-proof AI for the agent. Okay. I haven't heard you talk about that much. Go ahead.
I call it slightly different, like, remove the anxiety of missing out on what's going on in technology. That's our job, right? We're your technology partner. So let us worry about and be anxious about what's going on in technology. And all you have to do is kind of like trust us, basically. And then when we deliver something, you're
okay.
You can believe that you're on the forefront of technology. But I want to go back and something you described, like you moved from OpenAI to Anthropic, maybe was
yes, that's right.
That
that's
what
exactly
stopped
right.
you is your history, your asset building that you've already investment into the other system. Well, that's very symptomatic, as you know, of what happens with AMS and agencies. A lot of people love momentum, but like I've moved already once, twice from one system to another, and it was hell.
Brutal.
It was nightmare. So I'm not doing that again for another 10 years, right? I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to lose my hair. But we recognize that. And what we're developing, going back to is the AMS dead? The reason we got rid of AMS in our name is we're actually developing exactly what you're doing at Next One, a completely different product. We're developing using technology to enable people to manage their business, their agency, without being attached necessarily to any specific closed system. So kind of like using Next One that is agnostic of your AMS. What Momentum's doing with our latest offerings is going to be something very similar, even though we have an AMS and you could use our AMS to take advantage of some of the AI tools that we're building. We already have, 45 AI tools available out there. You don't have to be a Momentum AMS customer. You can actually keep your existing AMS. And there's a way, as you know, of AI, even if you don't use APIs, or the APIs are incomplete, there's still a way to integrate, just like what you're doing with Gaia, right? You're not using the API from a rater to hit Progressive or Geico and get a quote. You were using the portal because AI can figure out how to actually do that to a portal, right? So you don't need an API. Very similar. If you extrapolate that, you'll see exactly where I'm going with this is you can now, combine a variety of different systems. You don't have to migrate anymore. So in that sense, the AMS is kind of dying because the importance of your particular AMS is going to diminish in your own business, but it's still going to need an AMS. But you can combine, AI and tools and AI agents to run off of any software.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. And yeah, that does lead to some of the stuff that me and Daniel have talked about trying to be where we need to be. But with Next Agency, if you come with us, we're going to have an absolute seamless, deep integration right into Momentum. And then using some of those tools in the years to come, they'll be able to use anything they want. But right off the bat, I mean, I went and I just knocked like this, loyal listeners. And Michael opened up the door and said, come on in. Come on in. I said, but I'm building a house. He said, well, here's my house. If you like it, you can go ahead and build yours out back. And that's what I did. And it really wasn't a love story like that, but it sounds good. Go ahead, Peter.
By the way, you had the story about your developers looking at an API and then decide why we're not doing business with them. It wasn't really the API. I'll tell you what, when Daniel saw the MCP server is when they say, well, they had most everything we need. So, for those listeners that, they probably should look it up. But we just released our MCP server, which is to the public. Daniel, obviously the private one, Daniel knew about. Daniel, by the way, is a genius. If I can steal that kid, I would.
I know he is a genius.
He made me sign, a non-compete.
He really is. He's really unbelievable. We're trying to develop this different portal product inside of virtual intelligence. And I got some smart tech guys over there, like 3 of them, and they're beating their head against the wall. And so I just told them, I said, hey guys, you guys have got to get into Huddle. You've got to be able to figure this out. I said, I'm giving you until May 1st to get this done, and I need you to come with me. Well, I happened to add Daniel into that thing. The next morning, he came back and he had a video, and he's like, Jason, here's what I think it is. And I mean, this had just literally made almost the whole thing. I gave it to my tech team. They're like, oh my God. And so the dude is outside the world. He's unbelievable. He is a genius. All right. And he's also very humble. He's a very, very humble kid. All right. We have done one of the longest podcasts since Ryan Hanley and or Billy Williams and or David Carruthers. So I do greatly appreciate you guys taking on. I appreciate you guys investing in IndieTech. Every agent appreciates that. They really, truly do. They're not even going to understand until they come to here. If you're a Momentum user, please understand that you're going to have a whole track for you. Also, I should note, because I have Kyle's permission, the CEO of the Florida Association of Insurance Agents, met with him yesterday. They are partnering with us. So if you're a Florida agent, you're going to get to come. You're going to have some special stuff for you. You're going to have a special discount. He is going all in as a partnership. He said, Cass, you could call us a partner in this. Our members have been asking us for something like this, and we want to get behind it. They had a couple people who actually came to IndieTech and was like, wow, you need to get a hold of them. So I know we're doing something right. Once again, it's going to be February 1st. That's a Monday. February 2nd and 3rd. It is going to be at the Hilton West Palm Beach. And I say this all the time, Michael, says things happen for a reason. And this is the first time ever that we have found and we didn't mean to, but had a hotel that was attached to a convention center. So everything fits into the hotel right now with our expectations. But I find it very ironic that there's a good chance we're going to blow the doors off this thing and we're going to need that extra room. But I'll be honest, I don't know how much bigger I want to get. I like that. I like that smallness, that uniqueness. You just don't come because you're paying. It's coming because you want to learn something and share. Oh, do you, Michael? I see you thinking. You agree?
Yeah, I think there's an optimal number, and I think it's slightly bigger than it is right now. Like, there are shows out there that, like I said, are just too big, and because they're not focused on any one. You know, you have carriers and MGAs and agents, and we are first and foremost focused on the independent agent and the tech that supports them.
That's right.
So if you asked me what I think we're going to hit, I think we're going to have 650 agents this year, and I think I don't want to say we're capping it, but I don't want it, from our perspective, to be much bigger, because too much of a good thing is too much of a good thing. Mm-hmm. And I do already see the demand from vendors and people that I'm talking to. We're already probably integrated with a third of your vendors, mm-hmm. And every single one of them said they're coming back. I think you're going to run out of vendor space.
I will. I agree. I
don't want to fill a convention center. I want meaningful relationships to come out of it, not a bunch of drive-bys.
I don't mind, as long as you keep the spirit the same. And the reason I like Indie, because I actually had to look it up, but it does mean independent. So as long as you keep it democratic, independent, free-flowing, exchange mm-hmm. of ideas, which aligns very well with our company philosophy, the size doesn't matter as much. Yeah,
it doesn't. It doesn't.
So Peter, basically your parting comment is size doesn't matter.
I knew that was going to come up somehow from you, Lebor. So I'm just going to mention, today is my birthday, so I just want to overshadow that last comment. Yeah, today is my birthday, the best birthday. 45 never felt so good. Now, I wish.
Oh, I bet 45. Yeah. Wow. Holy cow! I did not know that. Obviously, I guess at 3/13, I was born on 4/13.
Oh.
So 1 month, and I'm 47 or getting ready 48, so I'm 3 years old.
I only remember this morning when I logged into Slack and I had a million messages because I kind of forgot my own birthday because I was up till 4 working last night. But anyway.
Hey, if you love anything about this, come to IndieTech, talk with them. If you want to reach out, if you're thinking about changing your AMS system, at least hear them out. Look at what they have. Like I said, 40 some AI tools. And they're real. They're great.
Jay, let's be honest. Like, you gave Peter and I shit last night that we launched our Claude MCP and you didn't know about it. And my response was like, dude, this is changing every day.
I wasn't going to say that, actually.
What?
I wasn't going to say anything about that, even though I wanted to. That's pretty huge, bro. That you guys are going to be able to, you're trying to work MCP with Claude in your system. I mean, that's next level shit. You know what I mean?
Open clause. I'm going to show you
Open
something.
claw.
We're going to blow your mind very soon.
It's both. I mean, it's both.
By the way,
It's not
I want to
limited
correct something. You don't have to change your MS. Don't come to us to change your MS. What we're developing is literally you can use a lot of our stuff without changing your MS.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
That's a good
yes.
point. Okay. That's a good point. That's a damn good point. So thank you very much for correcting me there. All right. Hey, I greatly appreciate everything that you guys are doing. Thanks for having that independent spirit and understanding us. We say all the time that it is Switzerland. We like it to where nobody dominates. Everybody's here for a good time on IndieTech. And it is IndieTech is about the independent agent and the technology that powers them to profit. And I believe that wholeheartedly. That's what we do this shit for. It's not to cost us more money or cost us headache. It's to power us to profit. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much, Peter, for being a leader. Thanks very much, Michael, for realizing what Peter had and saying, hey, together we can do more things. So that's unbelievable. I really, really, really do appreciate you guys. I heard nothing but great stuff. People think that IndieTech and Momentum really, really go well together. And no disrespect to some of our other sponsors out there, like IPFS and Done. I got to tell you, Chase was one of the first people that I told this to, and he said to me, Cass, what do you need from us resources-wise to make that shit happen? And they've always been there, just like you had, how you guys have now stepped up. I greatly appreciate them. I couldn't do what I do without them. We wouldn't be here because it was. I remember when I first signed my contract, my very first one, and they said you need this much as a down payment. I mean, I'm AI. I mean, we don't make any money. We're a podcast company, you know? And I was like, where in the hell am I going to get this money? And Chase said, we'll take care of that for you. And I mean, it's just always been that way. Frank Friedman, for the CEO of IPFS, always been there to support agency intelligence, and we greatly appreciate that. And we'll continue doing it. Thank you once again, gentlemen. And I want to say something real quick before we leave. You heard Michael mention it a couple times. Peter, I think, said it once, and I found this out a couple weeks ago. I thought this was amazing. The word passion. The word passion, actually, the base root of it is a Latin word. It's passion or something like that. I'm butchering that because I'm an ignorant white guy. But the thing that was great about it is when you look at the meaning of that word in Latin, it means to suffer or to endure.
Mm.
So when you hear somebody say, I have a passion for this, it's not what we always think, but yet it is what we always mean. Because when we have that passion for something, we all know that anything we want to build from the ground up or just to make it better, there has to be that passion. We've got to endure. There's a lot of suffering. And you all know that who are loyal listeners. So think of that next time. That's an amazing thing. And I like it a lot because I heard Michael say it numerous times. And now since I've learned that, it's really kind of stuck out to me. So I do want to appreciate you guys once again. And I want to tell you, loyal listeners, you know what I do because I do it for you. Tell me your thoughts and tell me your ideas. And I'm going to tell the world what you have to say. This has been Jason Cass. This is Peter. That's Michael. And we are out. See you in Indy, baby.
Thanks, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
Awesome job.